Dobry wieczór wszystkim. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic today. I'm Mysticle and I'll be bringing you the latest in AR and VR news. As usual, you've got chapters down below to skip to any specific part of the video that might interest you the most. And with that being said, let's jump right into the video. We're going to begin today's one, as usual, with some meta news. And this one begins with some interesting information, as apparently Quest 3 owners have now matched Valve Index owners on SteamVR, which is pretty crazy. I mean, the Valve Index is an incredibly popular device. They still haven't beaten Quest 2 device owners though, as we probably all know, the Quest 2 will be unbeatable for a while. That price that headset sold at and the mass that it sold at was absolutely crazy. The data comes from the SteamVR hardware survey, which is offered to a random sample of Steam's user base each month. If you accept, it uploads a list of your PC specs and peripherals to Valve, as well as any headset used for SteamVR in the past month. So as we can see here, the Quest 2 is still top at 38.03%. We have the Valve Index, which has actually dropped by 0.76%, and that's sitting at around 15.92%. So this is probably telling me that a lot of Valve Index owners are deciding to upgrade to the Quest 3, as the Quest 3 has now jumped up to 15.49%, and that's an increase of 0.46%. So it's actually not quite there, but it's very, very, very close, and I feel like next month it might even beat the Valve Index. Then we have the Rift S, which is quite surprising considering that headset stopped being supported by Meta incredibly fast. And then we have the HTC Vive and Windows Mixed Reality, which all seems to be grouped into one little category. Either way though, that's some interesting information for you right there in case you're interested in statistics and all that. Let me know down below. Are you using the Valve Index? And are you planning to upgrade anytime soon? On a completely different topic, it seems Razer might be back in the VR accessories game. Razer made a bunch of accessories for the Quest 2 when that came out, and now it seems they're doing the same with the Quest 3. You either love it or you hate it. A lot of people love Razer as a gaming brand, and then others think they're just overpriced and would never buy their products. However, it seems they are once again back with the made for Meta branding, and they're promising real comfort here. This one seems to be co-designed with ResMed Technology, a leading expert in human factors with a design approach driven by millions of hours of data. That's interesting. And they're selling their Razer facial interface. It looks pretty nice. Is it different to any of the other ones you can get on the market right now? I don't know. I don't have it. I haven't tested it. But you know, when a company as big as Razer jumps into the VR market, of course, we're going to talk about it. They also have their Razer adjustable head strap system, which looks very, very similar to the one they had for the Quest 2. Quite a few people actually like that one. And they promise that it is still charging dock compatible, which is very nice. Overall, that's pretty much it. But again, Razer, very big company, jumping into virtual reality once again. I mean, I like to see it. The more large companies we have in virtual reality, the less other companies are going to take it as a gimmick. According to Luna on Twitter, our proximity toggle inside the headset might be coming back. In case you guys find that proximity sensor inside your device incredibly annoying, which I do sometimes, you know, when you take off the device and it instantly turns off the screens because your face isn't inside, a lot of people have just put tape over that sensor to stop that from happening. You have a toggle to turn that off inside Meta Developer Hub on a PC, but there actually used to be a toggle inside developer settings inside your headset. That disappeared in V59. However, according to Luna, the strings were updated in V64/65 to emphasize that it should only be used by developers, so Meta may be planning on bringing it back. It's interesting that they're emphasizing that. I don't entirely see why it would be such big of an issue if users use that toggle, unless it becomes an issue where they forget that they have it on and LCD screen retention happens. That is actually a thing that happens. It's not burn-in, it's not the same thing as OLED burn-in, but LCD screen retention does happen. It can scare a few people. It tends to go away after a while. I've never seen it stay myself, so I can see that possibly being an issue if, you know, they plop down the headset and they forget the thing is on. And yeah, LCD screen retention. And here is a few more statistics that might actually surprise you, as the VR club is now larger than the Mac gaming club. Yes, we're a club now. The PC VR population has been growing ever so steadily over the past 4 years. Meanwhile, the Mac OS population has shrunk and even been overtaken by VR. If you were just looking at the percent of Steam population with monthly connected VR headsets, you'd probably conclude that VR on the platform has shrunk slightly over the last 4 years. And you can see that on the graph that's shown above me right now. But the population of Steam itself has been growing at a steady clip. To eliminate the growth of Steam population as variable, Road to VR maintains a model based on the historical Steam survey data, along with official data points directly from Valve and Steam, which aims to correct for Steam's changing population and estimate the actual count, not the percentage of headsets being used on Steam. Here's a look at the slow overall growth in the count of monthly connected headsets on Steam, after accounting for Steam's overall population growth. Sounds complicated, but just in general, what Road to VR has done here is instead of using percentages, they're using the actual amount of headsets connected, because the amount of people using Steam is growing, and therefore percentage might not be the right thing to use here. We're going to have a larger increase in people using Steam than we will in using VR headsets, and therefore it might look like VR headsets are dropping when in reality they're rising. It's just they're rising at a slower rate than the amount of Steam users is, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Either way though, we've overtaken macOS gamers. To be honest, I didn't expect macOS gamers to be a very large amount of people. Those things aren't necessarily meant for gaming, but either way, we've overtaken them. We win. Earlier on, I mentioned large companies creating VR accessories, and therefore maybe more companies will stop seeing VR as a gimmick. What shows that even more, I guess, is the fact that more than 50% of Fortune 100 companies are already using the Apple Vision Pro. Tim Cook just officially announced that more than half of Fortune 100 companies have bought at least one Apple Vision Pro headset. Enterprises including KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, SAP, Porsche, Lowe's, and ENBW have publicly confirmed using Apple Vision Pro with custom Vision OS software. To quote, "We see Apple Vision Pro as a tremendous value add that will improve our fleet availability and operations. Training our employees with spatial computing will lead to fewer costly errors because the most current information they need to do their job is right there in front of them as they perform the task. This means we not only get vastly more efficient in our work, but also provide a better work environment for our employees to succeed." That's from KLM's Vice President of Operations Decision Support. So as you can see there, companies are actually now seeing augmented and virtual reality as a tremendous add-on to their workload, which is fantastic. Again, even more here to prove that VR and AR aren't a gimmick anymore. They're actually helping people in their work and their daily tasks, which is amazing because this is where I was hoping we would be heading, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I expected it to happen this soon. Apple really did push the market forward here, even if a ton of people can't afford it. For companies, it is a one-time spend that could vastly improve their workload. So I'm very happy seeing that here. Talking about the Apple Vision Pro's expense, the cheaper and lighter Apple Vision Pro headset could reportedly launch June 2025. That's actually really close. Chinese news outlet Wall Street CN reports Apple's plans to launch the cheaper and lighter Vision headset as early as June 2025. The report cites the supply chain as saying Apple is accelerating the launch from an original plan of September 2025 and claims the headset will weigh roughly 400 grams, significantly lighter than the 600 to 650 gram Vision Pro. It also claims the supply chain is preparing for scale at levels of tens of millions. This is an extraordinary claim, given the current Vision Pro is produced at the scale of hundreds of thousands. For the cheaper Vision headset to reach tens of millions scale would require a significant expansion of micro OLED supply capacity to drive a much lower price point. The current Vision Pro is heavily supply constrained by Sony's limited micro OLED display output. Last year, the Information's Wayne Ma reported that Apple was testing micro OLED displays from two Chinese suppliers, BOE and Sia Technology. If these samples meet Apple's standards, Ma wrote displays from these companies could be used in future Vision headsets. To be honest, again, really happy here. You know, Apple is one of those larger companies. Of course, now we're going to be getting something from Google, Qualcomm, and Samsung, which should also be a very large win for the VR and AR market, and will give us more competition. But of course, the current Apple Vision Pro isn't necessarily competition for most people out there. They're not going to buy a $3,500 device, while at the same time be looking at a Quest 3 per se. I feel like the markets for those two right now are entirely different. However, if Apple can make their device a lot more consumer friendly and lighter, I can see a lot of people actually debating on which one they want to get. So can't wait for that to happen, and very excited to see what Apple has up their sleeve this time. And finally, we've got EarthQuest, and the only reason I have this in here is because I've been waiting for something like this. EarthQuest is what Google Earth VR should have been on Quest. Despite not receiving updates in years, Google Earth VR 2016 on Steam is still one of the most useful and immersive ways to interact with the company's 3D version of Planet Earth, Street View, and all. There are already a few apps on Quest that tap into Google's free-to-use Maps API, but none of them are doing it at the scale of EarthQuest. Released on Quest in September 2023, EarthQuest promises almost every identifiable city on Earth in realistic 3D, going toe-to-toe with Google's own Earth VR app on Steam by bringing 3D areas available on earth.google.com to the Quest native app. So this has actually been available for quite some time, since September 2023. However, I didn't even know about it, to be honest. This somehow flew under my radar, and I used to love playing in Google Earth VR, as bad as it was, and it hasn't been updated in years, so I'm not entirely sure how I missed this, but in case you also missed it and are looking for an app like this, it's there. Find your own house. You know, it's kind of creepy, but do. Either way though, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. If you liked it, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this one works too, but let me know why down below. If you're not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, where I'm going to see you posting your spice memes. And thank you so much to anyone supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form. The patrons, the people that leave us super thanks, the people that buy me a coffee, and you guys watching, of course. You're also supporting, so seriously, much love. Your support means a ton. And as usual, if you want to be notified of future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack the subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace. Today's outro, no, my brain's fried, okay? I can't, today I can't rap, okay? I can't rap for you today.